Good evening. Today is Tuesday, December 20th. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heather, could you take roll, please?
Councilmember Bachman.
Here.
Councilmember Beaton.
Here.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Here.
Mayor Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Here.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Here.
City Manager.
Here.
City Attorney.
Here.
City Assessor. Finance Director.
Here.
Planning and Zoning Administrator. Police Chief.
Here.
Fire Chief.
Here.
City Engineer.
Here.
Roll call complete.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to amend the agenda. Make a motion to amend the agenda to add item 8G, Housing Commission membership. 1, Dale Priestner, and 2, Kelly Tomaszewski.
Support. Second.
Take roll, please.
Councilmember Bachman.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Public hearings, we have none. Citizens' comments on agenda-related items.
Molly Whetstone, City Assessor. I will be leaving after the Oprah. I just wanted to clarify that Erica's Darky Hawkins was my alternate. She has applied for my main Board of Review slot. The person that held it was too busy and could not go forward. So she's not on the alternate slot. She's for the regular slot. She has her training. We have used her. She's an awesome Board of Review member.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk on the consent agenda are considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval of the consent agenda, any member of council may have an item from the consent agenda removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Consent agenda items include approval of minutes, payroll, invoices, notifications regarding next study session. At this time, council could take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay. You take roll, please, Heather.
Councilmember Bachman.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay. New business, consideration of revocation of Oprah Certificate 3-20-0029. Mr. Glagola, owner of 314 7th Street, Manistee, has failed to meet the completion date of December 1st, 2022 for construction on this parcel. He has not pulled a building permit. The city clerk sent a certified letter to Mr. Glagola on December 5th, 2022, informing him of the city's intent to revoke the Oprah certificate on his property. The city received a letter from Mr. Glagola asking for an extension on December 1st, 2022. Based on the lack of progress and other issues, city staff recommends the revocation of his Oprah certificate. At this time, council could take action to revoke the Oprah certificate 3-20-0029 for 314 7th Street, Stephen Glagola. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Any discussion?
I would like to hear a little bit more about this, with all the stuff that's been coming in. Could someone speak on that? Thank you.
I have not, this certificate was one of the first ones that we did. I have not asked to revoke the district. The district is still in place. Special use permit is still in place. This certificate has had no work on it from, we're working on the third year, he's gutted the building, but moving forward on that, there's nothing to be done. And this is a building in an area for redevelopment with a district set. Perfect building for somebody to buy that has the capital to fulfill his plans. And the person buying it, if we don't revoke the certificate, because the building is for sale, then they have lost 3 years of the tax abatement. And so it is for the best interest of the building that we revoke the certificate, but when the building is sold, the new owners have special use permit, zoning's done, the district's established, all they have to do is meet the pro forma and come before council and say, I need a new certificate, and then they will get the 12 years instead of 9.
So, excuse my ignorance here, but I don't understand why he needs the Oprah if he's selling the property. Does that make sense?
It does. The building project became far more involved than I think, and he did not have his financing in line when he started the project and when we granted the Oprah. So any other Oprahs that you have gotten from that point on have their financing in line, have their pro formas met, and they're ready to go. This is one of the first ones we did, and it just got pushed through with, we didn't verify that he could afford to do the project.
Okay.
And now we're at where we're at. We have the building for sale, but the district, without revoking the district, we're not. We're keeping the district in place, and it should, hopefully we get somebody come in and buy it that can give us an Oprah and say, this is what we want to do, have financing in place, and what an awesome improvement it's going to be.
You mentioned the district. How big is that district?
The district is just the lots where he is in that one,
Okay.
just that one property.
Okay, thank you.
So from your understanding, because there's been no work done, are you assuming he has no intentions? I mean, because what we're getting, we get communication from both, and I guess the communication from his side doesn't necessarily detail that, so, but there, it doesn't seem like there's been any progress.
There has been no progress.
I mean, I'm optimistic that somebody might come along and buy that property, but I'll be honest, I don't know that a ton of people are gonna line up. I mean, we can be hopeful, so I guess I'm just wondering is, like, do we see any potential that he might do something with that?
I just have one question for George.
May I address the tax tribunal and his filings?
Sure. Yeah, those are fine.
We were in a tax tribunal on this property, and he never paid his fees. They kept putting him in abeyance, and he never paid his fees, and he kept saying he was indigent, and he had no money to pay the fees at the tribunal. He has no money to put in the building. So he had a great dream, and I wished it would have come to fruition.
All right, so based on some of the communication we've received, because he's making some statements in there, do we feel like if we were to revoke this or revocate it, that we're all set? We're not gonna have pushback on that?
Well, it's now $170, but $170 on a sheet of paper gets you a lawsuit. So, I mean, anybody can file. The one issue that he had was a request for certain mechanical items, the CART program, if you saw that, to be able to participate in council meeting. He's not here tonight anyway, but we don't have the capability for that, and the law does not require us to go out and acquire that technology. And so that claim is without merit. Doesn't mean that he won't still assert something, but no, I think we're in good standing with that. And
Just checking, because I
But-
deal with that.
Sure.
So, no,
Sorry,
we're good.
he's been here for planning commission meetings, right?
I believe so. I haven't participated in that, but
He's
Yes?
been at council
Okay.
meetings too.
Yes, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
So I just felt it was in the best interest of the property in the city. And then this has to go to the state tax commission. You are just the first level where you're saying he hasn't met the pro forma. We would like it gone. And then the state tax commission is the final approval.
anybody else?
I just want to make a comment on it. Is there anything we can do to, I mean, when we approve these Oprahs, we ask for their financials so that we know that we're comfortable, that they actually can perform it before they're actually given this tax incentive? It seems to me we should be asking for it at some place in this process. Is it happening at all?
So since this property was one of the first Oprahs, we do have an intake form through the chamber and Mark Miller. We do ask for pro forma that myself and Ed review. So there's more of a process now than there was.
Okay.
And I think it's, we're in a much better place with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes,
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Motion approved.
thank you. Consideration of Fracano's Manistee River to receive approval for a social district permit. The Downtown Development Authority would like to request support and approval for Fracano's Manistee River to receive a social district permit. This will allow Fracano's Manistee River to sell alcoholic beverages that can be consumed in the identified social district area. The Michigan Liquor Control Commission requires a local government unit approval for a social district permit form resolution to be completed by the local government and signed by the clerk for Fracano's Manistee River to complete and submit the social district permit application. At this time, council could take action to support and approve the resolution for Fracano's Manistee River to join the existing social district.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Oh.
Any discussion?
I just have a comment. People coming in and using the marina, I think, I haven't participated in the social drinking district. I think you're supposed to have a cup, a special cup that says that you're part of the district. How are they gonna get the cup? They're probably coming in off the boat and they're just boat and seeing people drinking, and maybe they're just, oh wow, let's go grab our beer out of the boat and drink. I mean, what,
They should be purchasing it from the qualified licensee, and they have a specific cup. So Mr. Fracano would have a cup that he would provide to the
People
The
come off
patron.
of boats, they have their own alcohol, and they've never been restricted in the marina
Okay.
proper from being able to drink their own alcohol coming off their own boat while they're staying in the marina property.
but then when they see people on the street, they might wanna join them, and they might not know that they need this particular cup. I don't know.
They might, but they might see a cup that says Fracano and head up there and get one.
Yeah, that's-
There you go.
I just thought okay.
Can you take roll, please?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes,
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
thank you. Consideration of entering into a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for the reconstruction of Memorial Drive. The Michigan Department of Transportation will be completing a major rehabilitation project of the US 31 Memorial Bridge beginning in 2023. Part of the project includes a local detour which will utilize Memorial Drive. MDOT has agreed to fund $100,000 for the reconstruction of Memorial Drive. The city completed the streets upgrades in the fall of 2022. Approval of the MDOT resolution will allow the city to be reimbursed for previous expenses. The city attorney has reviewed and approved the agreement. At this time, council could take action to approve the resolution for contract number 5299, Control Section HIPB 51011, Job Number 202982 CON, between the City of Manistee and the Michigan Department of Transportation.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is that going to cover the entire cost, that 100,000?
No, it's not that. So this is technically part of the Memorial Bridge project. And because it's the detour route and it was done before, they're agreed to reimburse us 100,000 towards the project. And Jeff isn't here tonight. He was under the weather, but I can give you the total cost. I believe it was, Ed, do you remember if it was 400,000 for that project? Yeah, so about a fourth of it, which,
It's not new work, it's work we've already done. They're just
Correct.
giving us some money back towards work. They're not gonna rebuild it again after the bridge. It's-
Correct.
We've already done, they're gonna give us money back to compensate us for that.
it's kind of a strange thing because they bid out the Memorial Bridge work. They couldn't do this reimbursement because it was part of the detour until after that Memorial Bridge work was bid out and awarded. So anyway, these funds were technically part of the bridge project. The Memorial detour was done before it. That's why we're seeing it now, though.
Heather, could you take roll, please?
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes?
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If the ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. For the approval of amending zoning ordinance language to remove public from the phrase parking facility, public, the use of parking facility will replace all mentions of parking facility, public. This amendment is occurring due to ordinance amendment Z08-02, removing public from the definition of parking facilities. The special land use standards in several districts within the zoning ordinance when Z08-02 occurred, all sections of the zoning ordinance were not amended to remove public from the parking facility. At this time, council could take action to introduce zoning ordinance Z22-06, amending language to remove public from the phrase parking facility, public. I said public like 1,000 times. Is there a motion?
I have a question, we gotta do the motion
Motion,
first?
yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussions?
Well, as you know, I'm a little leery about zoning changes.
Yeah.
Is this as simple as it sounds, it's just a spelling? I mean, just changing the word, or is it gonna impact somebody
Yes.
now or in the future?
Yes, so it was actually brought to my attention from Mark Miller working with a developer in town who was wanting to potentially put in a parking facility in one of the districts that the use is still a parking facility public. So when I started investigating that use and, what it would encompass for that specific developer in that district, I noticed that, it's parking facility public in some sections, but even the definition of parking facility removed public. So at this point, there isn't even a definition for public parking facility in the zoning ordinance. The special land use standards were amended, which was a big thing for me because I'm like, we don't have special land use standards now for parking facility public, and it really did just seem like a shortcoming of that previous amendment. So I took it to the Planning Commission for their recommendation to even hold a public hearing because I wanted the consensus of the commission that it wasn't just something that I was seeing and maybe others had a different idea. But I truly do think this was just something that should have been amended throughout, and it was overlooked and has not been, noticed until now.
Essentially, no negative impact to anybody if this changes.
Correct, yep. And then even a public parking facility, you imagine that private developers probably aren't in the game of putting their money into public parking facilities. The city would have the authority to, on city-owned property, put a parking facility wherever they see fit. So that would not have to be in the zoning ordinance for the city to do so.
Anybody else? Heather, could you take roll, please? Thank you, Katie.
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes?
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of Music Sparks Meaning Summer Concert Series. Music Sparks Meaning is a hosting of a summer concert series to help people in Manistee community and surrounding areas to find passion and purpose through music. The series would include free concerts on Saturday night, June 3rd, 17th, July 1st, 15th, 29th of 2023 from 6 to 9 p.m. at First Street Beach Gazebo. At this time, council can take action to approve the Music Sparks Meaning Summer Concert Series on alternating Saturdays in June and July 2023.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is this the same people that, weren't we having something go on, like on Tuesday nights or something down there?
It's Thursday night, it's a different group.
It's a different group.
Yeah,
okay.
and they're essentially looking, and we have Noah Cameron here to answer more questions, but just real quick, the gazebo, typically the procedure is first come, first serve.
Yeah.
I think they put together a pretty good operations plan as far as reserving it and having, utilizing it all day. With that group, I think there was an issue with signage in the right of way, and so we've kind of recommended they take this path to come in front of council to see if they need signage or just let council know what is the plan this summer. I looked at last year's Forest Festival. I don't see a conflict with Forest Festival. You see one of these is July 1 is one of the dates. I'm not aware of a conflict that I would create for Forest Festival. Some 2 cents, but Mr. Cameron probably has some more information on it.
Okay, hi.
On.
Good. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you're planning to do?
Yeah, so we want to have a concert series. We had it originally at the Forest Trail Festival as part of that whole thing, but we're making a nonprofit now, so we're moving that from being a ticketed event to being downtown Manistee as a free public concert. We're trying to find a way to tie in students and also professional musicians and kind of use like Manistee, Ludington area schools to kind of get the students to play with these bands and like an opener. And kind of get everyone involved and just, yeah, I guess have more events for the community.
Taking donations for your nonprofit ad, or how's that gonna work? I know it's free, but is there,
Yeah,
gonna be
so-
solicitation for money there, or how's that gonna work?
Yeah, my goal would be to have like a 50-50 raffle. We're still in the process of getting the 501c3 set up. We have just the corporation right now. But yeah, that and just donations.
And will you need another permit for a 50/50 raffle?
I'm assuming so, yeah. It's something I gotta look into once we get the,
Yeah, who's that come from, the state?
I'm not sure.
We'll look into it and figure out.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Nice. Anybody else? Heather, could you take roll, please? Thanks,
Councilmember
Mel.
Bachman.
Yes,
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Consideration of applications to boards and commissions. The following applications have been received. Board of Review, 2 vacancies, 1 regular term ending 12/31/25 and 1 alternate term ending 12/31/25. Applicant must be a city tax paying registered voter. Purpose, here's property valuations, appeals, council appointments. So,
I would make a motion to appoint Erica Starkey Hawkins, the 1 term ending 12/31/25, as a regular member. Applicants must be also a tax-paying registered voter.
I'll second.
can you take roll, please?
Councilmember Bachman.
yes,
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan. Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Nomination approved.
Thank you. Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, 1 vacancy term ending 6/30/24. Applicants must be city residents or people with interest in property in the city. Purpose, promote revitalization of environmentally distressed and functionally obsolete areas. I would like to appoint Megan Kemp, 1725 Murky Road.
You need a second?
Yeah, I need a motion.
We need a
I'll make a
motion.
motion.
Second.
Heather, could you take roll, please?
Councilmember Bachman.
yes,
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Housing Commission membership. I'm recommending the removal of Housing Commissioner Dale Priester. The council has the authority to remove a housing commissioner upon the recommendation of the mayor pursuant to ordinance chapter 270 in the Michigan Housing Facilities Act at MCL 125.6543. After a recent meeting with Commissioner Priester, it is evident that he signed a contract extensions on behalf of the Housing Commission dated January 31st, 2022, without an authorizing resolution from the commission. As a result, I am concerned that there is a lack of oversight by the commission. This action shall be effective immediately. The remainder of his term, which expires on May 31st, 2026, will be filled by an appointment to be confirmed by the city council at a later date. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? You take roll, please.
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes.
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. I am recommending the removal of Housing Commissioner Kelly Tomaszewski. The City Council has the authority to remove a Housing Commissioner upon recommendation of the Mayor pursuant to Ordinance Chapter 270 at the Michigan Housing Facilities Act at MCL 125.6543. Commissioner Tomaszewski has been absent for 5 of the 7 meetings held in 2022. Although these were all excused absences by the commission, I am concerned that there is a lack of oversight by the commission. This action shall be effective immediately. The remainder of her term, which expires on May 31st, 2023, will be filled by appointment to be confirmed by City Council at a later date. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Mayor, just, I know you met with Dale Priester and talked to him. She was notified that we had concerns of her absence? Is that correct?
She was notified in, hold on just a second, I got a lot of stuff here. She was notified in a letter from October 31st
Okay.
of the absences, and then she was absent after those meetings.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you.
Shake roll, please.
Councilmember Bachmann.
Yes?
Councilmember Beaton.
Yes.
Councilmember Lundberg.
Yes.
Mayor Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilmember Pratt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Grabowski.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin Pontiac.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Concerns and comments, citizens' comment. This is an opportunity for citizens in attendance to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, honorable council members. Happy to see you this evening. My name is Barry Peterson. I reside at 575 8th Street here in Manistee. I am currently the lame duck chairman of the Manistee Black Airport Authority. I've served on that authority for 6 years, and I had reapplied for the position. Looking at the council, I know that at least 6 out of the 7 of you know me fairly well, either through my past employment or other endeavors here in town. So just to fill in a little bit, short bio. I'm an Eagle Scout, kind of like being a Marine. You're never a past Marine or a former Marine. You're always an Eagle Scout. I was salutatorian for my high school class, and after graduating from Central Michigan University, I moved to Manistee in 1977, 45 years ago. I taught in Manistee schools for 33 years in class, various positions, and spent 7 years as a sub. My wife is the former Mary Johnson. She also taught at MAPS for 36 years as a classroom teacher and the music teacher. Her family moved here from Sweden in 1880s. Our children, if they had careers that kept them in town, would be 5th generation members of our church. I have had a lifelong interest in aviation. I, in the past, have held a private pilot's license. In years past, before I learned that a teacher's salary wouldn't support flying as a hobby and my children playing hockey, I worked at the airport as an employee so I kind of have an idea of a little bit of what's going on. I think I mentioned I served on that commission or that authority for 6 years. That's 72 meetings. We were talking about attendance a moment ago. Out of 72 meetings, I missed 2. One, I was embroiled in some project and simply forgot. I apologize. The second one I missed was because at the same time the meeting was being held, I was being loaded onto an air ambulance plane to be flown to U of M Medical Center for emergency surgery. So I have a very real appreciation of the value of that airport. It saved my life. After I found out about the appointment a couple weeks ago, I realized that there were 3 mistakes that had been made, in my opinion. First one was mine. I made the assumption that since I was reapplying, I probably made the error of not applying as if I was a new applicant and giving you some of the information I just shared with you. My error. Second error, I believe, is that after 6 years of working on this authority, a conversation from someone would have been appropriate and courteous. If my application had been found wanting, why was I not asked? You all know me, most of you. The third mistake, I believe, is the method that I was informed of my non-appointment. I was convening the Capital Improvements Committee at the airport a week ago this past Monday, and while we were waiting for the last member to show up to convene, somehow in the conversation, all of a sudden the airport manager looked at me with eyes about the size of quarters and said, "You don't know, do you?" No one had contacted me. During the past 6 years working on the airport, we've done quite a bit. We've overseen the continued operation of an EAS airport. That's Essential Air Service. It's federally funding, federal subsidy that allows us to have the airline service that we have. That's a real complicated business. Picking the service provider, making sure that our airport fits and fills all of the federal requirements involved with that. There's a lot of learning curve in this job. That air carrier is soon up for reselection, so there's all that work ahead of us. Tons of FAA requirements we have to meet, normal maintenance, building rehab and improvements. I know, and one of the biggest projects I've had in mind for the last 6 years is the appearance of the airport when you approach our wonderful town from the north. Those hangars are horrible. We've been trying for 6 years to fund them. We finally now have the monies through the American Recovery Act to improve that and take care of it. And I really had wanted to oversee that and see that project completed. Really sorry I won't be filling that through. And the final kicker was, yesterday, I have to back up 1 second.
I don't want to cut you off, Mr. Peterson, but you got 30 seconds.
I'll be fine. This one's important. Heather did talk to me after I came into the office. So when I say no one talked to me, she did contact me. The final kicker is that yesterday I went out to the airport to convene the normal December meeting and was told it had been canceled because they didn't have a quorum. Nobody ever informed me. I'm on that authority till December 31st, and it would have been a quorum. I was the only one that showed up. So if there's any other way to kick me to the curb or insult me, I'm flummoxed. I can't figure out what it would be. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell?
Just an update on, so we're looking at doing an overarching Oprah CRA district. There are some questions. We're going to get some answers, make sure we do it right. So we may be moving forward with, we know we have an Oprah application coming in for the music vault. I'm going to be talking with them, make sure that moves forward if they need it to. And then we'll make sure we have the overall district, larger district, kind of all put together and done right. So that'll be coming up. The DDA has supported that. And that's all at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, staff?
Just hope everybody has a safe holiday.
Thank you. Mr. Bachman?
Good year. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
I think we're getting a great gift. Going to have a lot of snow in the next few days. All the kids will be excited. I'm glad they'll be off school so they can enjoy it. And I hope everybody has a safe holiday.
Second that. I think it's a great time to be in town and seeing all the beautiful snow around, and I hope everybody has a great holiday.
Mr. Pratt?
I had a couple of things. So, I don't know if anybody had a chance to watch the most recent Parks Commission meeting.
I did
Watch
not,
it?
no.
Okay. So there were a couple of things that were mentioned that were a little concerning to me, or I guess I had some questions about. So, I just thought as a new council member, I should start attending some of these just randomly to get a better idea of what's going on. There's no meeting minutes for recent meetings. The last one, and I just checked tonight before I brought this up, goes back to October 13th. And the agenda wasn't posted online. And in fact, at that meeting, it was mentioned that by one of the commission members that they actually received those minutes at 5:28, and that meeting started at 5:30. And they asked if they could get those in advance, and they said that they haven't had an opportunity to get those. So I don't know where that breakdown comes from, but it seems like they should be getting them sooner, and those meeting minutes should be posted. But at that meeting, money from the Lions Pavilion came up again, and it was said that there's nothing formal in place for that money. But a couple meetings ago, it was said that that had already been discussed by council. So I'm kind of confused on if that money is earmarked or isn't earmarked.
It's on the next study session for January for discussion.
And then they were talking about budget, and they had mentioned that the parks are not funded appropriately, and that's why we can't maintain them. They mentioned that they've discussed several times that we need another worker through the DPW, I'm assuming, for the parks, but that keeps getting vetoed by Ed Bradford, and they said that he picks the budget items before they even come to council. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm just asking because I guess I feel like if as a council we say like, hey, that's a number one priority, it seems like we would shift the budget to make that work. Not like we get it after the fact.
So there are department requests that come up, and then some things do get cut to bring a balanced budget to council. But then council does review that recommended budget.
I just feel like based off a lot of things that were said, it's probably worthwhile to watch that meeting, because I'm not going to go through all my concerns, but I have a front page and a back page based on things that seem to contradict what we've been told or what I've been led to believe. But one of the main things, and I think it kind of touches on what Mr. Peterson brought up tonight, is communication. And it was mentioned that maybe there's been some hurt feelings with volunteers that have been volunteering with some comments that have been made. I'll be honest, I work in the public sector. I don't count on volunteers to do my work, but when Jeff's saying at that meeting that we need volunteers to keep the parks up and running and things like that, that's concerning to me because that's extra. But we need to recognize those volunteers, and I guess I'm wondering, do we do any type of recognition? Do we do like a breakfast for them or put something in the paper if they volunteered? I mean, some of these things are really simple, but it acknowledges those efforts. And I'm a little shocked. I mean, I'll be honest, I think that when the appointment for the airport committee was fairly recent when I took over. We don't all see those applications as a council. So, I know Mr. Peterson as a teacher, but I didn't know that he had all of that flight or airline experience. Sorry if I'm not using the right terms, but that might be helpful. And I guess I just feel bad that there was no follow-up communication. I don't know whose job that would have been, but it seems like he should have been informed. And then the last thing I'm going to mention on communication is I really appreciate Mr. Saylor sending out that memo. I'll be honest, when I took over this council position after election, that might have been helpful to get a policy on communication. I've asked questions. I can tell that's not really appreciated by some people, that there's no ill intent. It's just to get information to make informed decisions and get access to that. I've talked to council members that sit on other city councils things like evaluation tools and things like that, they all know that. I mean, I asked somebody here thinking I just didn't find it in the Dropbox, and they're like, we don't know what the evaluation tool is. I don't need to know somebody's evaluations, but I was a little offended by the last email that we made a lot of assumptions and accusations without picking up the phone and calling me and saying, hey, why did you ask for this information? I'm just trying to get information. I have no thought one way or another, but I'll be honest, my evaluation's public record. My teachers' evaluations are public record. My board knows every teacher's evaluation and the evaluation tool. There was no ill intent, but I just would appreciate it if I'm asking for questions in the future, if there's a thought on that, maybe a phone call to clarify. But other councils call people in and have a sit-down meeting with new council members. That was not an opportunity provided. I got a letter saying your information's in the Dropbox, and if you need anything, ask. So I've emailed asking.
And I will respond to the information for Mr. Peterson. So the Airport Authority is different from all of our other boards and commissions. That is a nomination to the county, and I've only done that one time since I've been clerk. And I dropped the ball on that. I spoke to Mr. Peterson on that. Yeah, I did, because I sent that nomination on to the county. He had not, the nomination that we made was not an actual appointment until it's appointed by the county. In saying that, I should have at least let him know that that nomination was made, and that was my mistake. But I still don't know if the actual appointment has been made by the county yet. And the county clerk will then notify that person of that appointment to that authority. So that's where that mix-up was there. So I did explain that to him, and I was, so that was a little confusing to that, because it is different from our other boards.
Thank you.
And everybody's application is in the Dropbox, right? Every time we get an application, isn't it attached in our Dropbox?
It's attached to the agenda.
Yeah.
So can we check on that? Because I'm gonna be honest, I know I brought it up at a previous council meeting, and I know I said I'd be done, so I'm sorry. My email, I'm still getting emails from citizens that say when they click on the email that says like contact, so it's on like the city website rather than type in your email, they're saying they're getting an email response that says it's like failure to send. And they've actually sent it to me. So I don't know if the hyperlink is connected. I don't know. I don't pretend to know technology issues. I take my stuff to my tech department and I say fix it. So I just don't know, but I've had about 5 people that have had to enter my email address personally because they said the hyperlink doesn't work.
I will add that to our
We'll look at
list.
that.
I think that would.
Aaron, do you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted an update on the Kosciuszko house. I know there's a big sign that says there's an arson award.
And the arson award is to the Michigan State Police, the arson unit there. There's an arrest made in that case. I'm working with the city manager to set up a timeline and a path to have that eventually demolished.
Okay, but there's no we've gotten someone, I've gotten questions about why there's a reward thing on the.
They put that on all their scenes for arson investigation to help. I think it probably can be taken down now that we've made an arrest in that case. So we can take that down.
Okay,
Is
yeah,
that
it's
your
just
question?
learning for the neighborhood that there's something. So. And happy holidays.
I'm in agreement with Seth. I think I asked about it 3-4 years ago when people were applying for the jobs, if they could at least, some of them, come up here and address the council, because a lot of times we're voting on people we don't even know. And it'd be nice to have them. But when they do not get the position, if they be notified, some form letter saying.
We do.
I think that would be a great idea.
We do notify.
And there is a checkbox, will attend, will not attend. I think it is a good idea for them to attend.
Right.
Yeah.
There's really no harm in any of I'm sorry for butting in, there's really no harm in any of the council members when they see the agenda to pick up the phone and call some of these people that they don't know who are applying for. I've done that many times. So I don't think that there's some responsibility on us to kind of figure out who these people are. So that would be my suggestion, you can do that. But I am, sorry.
Okay.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Okay, so I'm just gonna address this, application for everybody. I made my decision based on the applications that were in front of me. And based on those applications, the other guy's application and background from what was in front of me was, I mean, stellar. He has over 2 decades of experiences in the airlines. So we could be having the same conversation with the other guy saying, hey, why didn't you pick me? I have experience. So everybody has the opportunity to come in here and speak on their behalf. The only time I've ever seen anybody is the planning commission when they came in. Any of the department heads or the commissions had ample opportunity to speak on somebody's behalf, and nobody did. So I apologize to you if you feel that it was taken personally. I picked this gentleman based solely on his application, and everybody supported me on it. So, so
Or any of that, I have no idea what his qualifications are. I just think it would have been courteous to call me if you thought my application after 6 years was a little thin. Just courtesy.
with that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Can I ask you something about the